Well, it's the summation of the November 5th, 2007 meeting of the Mendham Borough Town Council. As always, the meeting began with a silent prayer instead of a moment of silence, as the law requires. Then there was the Pledge of Allegiance. Consent agenda passed without comment. And then there was a, what do you call it? Presentation. There we go. A presentation by members of the Land Use Committee regarding a new ordinance that'll basically just cover the historic district and I guess some roads that might branch out from there, just regarding maintaining the, as they say, the historic continuity and character of the town. A lot of talk about streetscape, what kind of paving materials you can use, setbacks on the property. Bottom line is there's not a lot of changes in the actual law. I guess what changes is you have, if you're in this designated area, if you have a home designated, then you'll be required to at least communicate with, well, I don't know if you're required, you'll be advised, suggested, recommended that you communicate with a 3-panel committee they're going to set up, and just, you're not obliged to follow their recommendations, but I guess there's sort of suggested that you take into consideration what the town would prefer be done, and suggestions and recommendations regarding maintaining the character of the town. And so I don't know if it means much. If you've got to get a, if a house is completely destroyed or something, like fire or something, well, then you're going to have to get a new site plan, and so then you're going to be under more or less tighter legal restrictions. This will mainly cover, I guess, additions and stuff like that. So I don't know what it all means necessarily to any individuals, but certainly there are some individuals who might be inconvenienced. But it didn't sound terrible, but I didn't read the whole thing. All right. So anyway, there's so then there was some talk about Casey's cafeteria again, and the problem they're having with obliging them to install a grease trap, and apparently they've been over their water usage they're permitted, and so I guess they've hired an engineer, and so there is some talk that this is going to get resolved. So at the December 3rd meeting there's going to be a final determination whether they're going to comply with what's required or not, or whether the town's going to take any action. There was an ordinance, I don't know, passing a bond resolution. I didn't really get it, but I mean, it has something. The town intends to purchase the Thomas tract, which is apparently land contingent to the DoNotGod, 100 acres, and this is, I guess, another 70 or 80 acres that's next to that. And the cost is going to be $8 million, and so the town is hoping to get $7 million in grants, and so the town will at least be paying out $1 million. So I guess the minimum expense is going to be some 50 or so thousand just to engage in this procedure, apparently. And before the town can make a commitment, so I guess they'll have some sort of contract stipulating that they intend to purchase based on these contingent circumstances, and there'll be some sort of time limits to get this stuff done. So I suppose it'd be good for the town. Any land it can own is good, but it still gets kind of tricky because of the library being put on the DoNotGod tract. It just seems like having this land being kept green acres, undeveloped, right next to DoNotGod, which the town is only, which they're going to put the library on, 2 or 3 acres of. It just makes that development property more valuable again, makes it more likely to be developed, in my opinion, and so this does have implications, and I think the town should do everything it can to not encourage that development, and so I think the last thing it should do is engage in building a nice library at the entrance to the development. So, but that's just my opinion. There was some talk about easements, you know, just I don't think it meant much about different people. So let me get through this other stuff first, and I'll finish with the story I might talk more on. There was a little bit of talk about a kennel on, I guess it's on Main Street, that they're going to change, and so there was some concern that they might be going over their water usage permit, because they're going to, I guess, get rid of half the kennel space and have a doctor's, you know, vet's office, and then an apartment above, and grooming, and so I guess the idea is they're not going to have any increase in water use, they're just changing their use. And there was some talk of the budget, and that there was one of these Saturday meetings, I guess, took place, and that it was constructive as the council members report, and that they might get the budget in early this year. Then there was one council member, I guess the head of the recreation committee, said it was the commendations given to the little athletes at the last meeting was much appreciated, even though it was a stupid waste of public time. Okay, I guess that's about it. And the last story is that the Black Horse Inn, I guess, is officially changing ownership now, and so they did approve the liquor license changes and the sewage permit changes. You know, they're apparently obligated to do a little upgrade work on the bathroom fixtures and whatnot. You know, it's you know, the council did thank, you know, wished Mr. Knapp the best of luck, and in his future endeavors, whatever they may be, and thanked him for his contribution to the town. And you know, yeah, the Black Horse Inn's it was a big part of my life when I was a kid. I worked there for a few years, and you know, it was my first, you know, I had jobs like delivering papers and cutting grass and all that stuff. It was my first, like, real job. And you know, I started working there when I was 15, and you know, so yeah, it's nostalgic, and it's just you know, times change and things change and all that crap. I actually thought that Mr. Knapp had sold the place a few years ago, but I guess he just took on partners or changed the business name, and so yeah, that's all. Nothing. I guess there's no point in reminiscing. It was a different place back then than it is now, so like I said, it's already sort of changed already. So anyway, that's it. A little shorter than the usual. Nothing else to report. See ya.